Mantra DAO has crashed. The retail investor got completely wrecked. The OM token Rugpull. The question is this the end for the token? Where are we going from here? What caused all of this? Let's dive into the details. Here's the performance of the top 100 tokens in the last 24 hours, and this is the OM token. The market as a whole is going down, but OM is definitely standing out. And since this community is betting on falling altcoin prices, since Bitcoin hit 100k roughly, the members have of course also made money with this crash. So this was shared by a premium member. Not everybody loses money when prices are going down. We as a community tend to win. This is how Mantra looks on a daily chart. And this channel has covered this token several times because there was a clear disconnect. Mantra DAO has only 3 million of total value locked. It's its own chain, but it has very little capital. At the same time, even after this crash, the market cap is still almost 800 million. So clearly something was off with the token, and now the market manipulation becomes more transparent. This is Mantra DAO relative to Bitcoin since the end of 2021, and all of that outperformance that we saw in the last 14-15 months has now been crushed within a moment's notice. Now, there are two types of altcoins. There are the altcoins that are very decentralized, as in there are a lot of different liquidity pools and the market makers might not own that much of the token. And then there are the altcoins that are not traded at all on chain. You can't even buy them on Ethereum, you can't buy them on Solana. They are their own blockchain, and pretty much all of the token supply is either held by the centralized exchanges, so the team paid money for the centralized exchanges to list it, or they are held by market makers. And so Mantra DAO is part of the latter group of altcoins. You cannot buy the token outside of centralized exchanges. All of the spot trading volume happens on OKX and Gate.io and Bybit. There is no Uniswap or the like over here. It's all centralized exchange, centralized exchange, centralized exchange. And then there's also the perpetual futures market. And this is where we can usually see hints of manipulation. When we've got a lot of trading volume relative to the market cap within the last 24 hours, we tend to see manipulation because futures are used to bet short-term on altcoins with leverage, and they're not intended for long-term holding, right? That's what the spot market is for. So a lot of future trading volume means a lot of leverage, means a lot of volatility, and potentially a lot of manipulation as well. And so is this potentially an opportunity to buy now low in order to sell high? Because that is what crypto is all about. Not so quick. This is the Mantra DAO token supply over time. And while we haven't seen that much token expansion yet, we will see continued growth over time. So it's unlikely that OM will outperform Bitcoin over the long term. Most altcoins underperform Bitcoin most of the time, especially during a bear market, especially when there's no new investors coming in. Thus, it makes sense just to have the odds in our favor to rather tend to bet on falling prices, not trying to fish for bottoms, but fishing for price pumps, and then bet on falling prices after we have such a price pump. It's very likely that Bitcoin dominance will continue to rise. And that means that Bitcoin outperforms the rest of the market. We only saw this turning around once Bitcoin dominance hits around 70%. That's then when we tend to get the altcoin rallies, but it's likely not going to happen for the entirety of this year. If you just keep rising in Bitcoin dominance at the current rate, it will take until 2026 until we hit those 70%. Another point to consider is that the average investor in Bitcoin is still in profit. And it makes sense to buy crypto when the average investor is in losses. So that is expressed with the realized price. I show this chart regularly on this channel, and whenever we are below, we should be buying. Whenever we are above, we might consider selling. And currently, the realized price is at only 44k. So we still have a lot of way to go down. Now, Mantra DAO initially crashed, and then started to recover. And it is possible to trade bounces like this as well. It's a risky game, but when volatility is high enough, it is a possible strategy as well. So here again is the OM chart. And from the bottom to the top, which lasted only a bit over 1 hour, we saw OM perform by 200%. And yes, there were traders in the community that were courageous enough to buy that dip, and they did make money with that recovery as well. But again, I think it's better to have the macro picture as a tailwind, as in if the timing is not perfect, we can still make money if we just continue waiting. That's very different to entering a long position, right? If you don't time this perfectly, then it's very likely to continue to lose money. Most people are losing in this market, but we tend to make winning trades. Again, it's all about finding the right altcoin and betting on this with the right kind of leverage and the right positioning size. So risk management is very important as well. The idea is that we continuously build our portfolio during this bear market, that in the end we've got more capital left at the bottom that we can then deploy. Because that's a problem with most people. Most people lose during times like this and they don't have enough capital to deploy once we are at the bottom. It is important to ride the macro as well. Just buying and holding is suboptimal. It doesn't really cut it anymore. But I know it is a bit daunting. Most people are too afraid to bet on falling prices. But again, if most altcoins do worse than Bitcoin most of the time, it's better to go that direction, especially during times like this. And so I've created more than 100 tutorial videos on how to bet on falling prices, what platforms to use, how to size the positions, how to manage the risk, etc. There's also tutorials on on-chain analytics, on wealth building, etc. Again, more than 100 tutorial videos. Of course, I'm sharing my own trades as well, and I share premium update videos where I currently see the market going. Those kind of videos come out every 3 to 4 days. The price is currently $125 per month. I've reduced the rate from 165 because so many people got burned during this bear market. And there's also a 1-week money back guarantee. So in case you don't like premium, just message me within the first 7 days and I will refund you 100%. There's zero risk for you. If it's the first time here, feel free to subscribe. I publish this regularly. A like would be very much appreciated as well. It helps the channel grow. See you next time on YouTube or see you in premium. The link is down below.